All right, so they just had the Mario Kart World Direct here on the 17th of April, 2025. And, I was kind of expecting a little bit more, not to get my, thoughts out of the way first, but, they showed a lot of the world. Everything looks really gorgeous, looks really pretty. I like overall the kind of vibe it's going for. The open world looks really, really sweet. But ultimately, the goal of this direct, at least in my opinion, was to sell us on the idea of this game. And I mean, at least from my perspective, the game being $80. Like I said, so I guess I'll start off with my overall thoughts on Mario Kart as a franchise as well. I really, really love Mario Kart. My very first Mario Kart was Mario Kart 64, and I used to just play that constantly. Kind of in a crazy way, I actually used to use kind of a makeshift free roam kind of mode, and I used to just drive around the tracks and try to find secrets and stuff, because Mario Kart's always been really great about, hiding little secrets here and there. And so I used to do that, from time to time. And so now the fact that Mario Kart World is sort of implementing this open world aspect to it where you can just free roam and go anywhere you want, that sounds fantastic to me, because I think, at least from my perspective when it comes to Mario Kart, it's such a cool, detailed world that I do sometimes want to stop and smell the roses. It's fun to race, it's fun to be first, it's fun to go fast. But I also kind of want to slow down sometimes and take a look at the artwork and the scenery and, see what they're kind of doing with the world and the environment, because they always do these really fun and creative things. I remember I had that problem with Mario Kart 8 initially when they released it on the Wii U, because they had the DLC that added that Legend of Zelda track. And the first time I raced on it, the whole time I was just like, wait, what's that? What's that over there? What's this? What's that? And I just was like, hold, stop. There's too much. There's too much going on. Like, I want to drive through the whole track once, very slowly, look at everything and appreciate it, and then we can race on it. So I'm glad that they're doing that. I guess we'll just kind of go in order here, a little bit of the of what happened with the Direct. So starting off kind of with courses, overall, I love the look and the design of a lot of these courses. I think it looks really, really great. There's some that really stand out more than most. The big one for me is I do like the Mario Bros. Circuit. That is a really kind of cool looking design. I really kind of like the desert Route 66 kind of vibe they're going for there. Also, Crown City looks interesting. I get a little bit of a Mario Kart Tour kind of vibe with that, so hopefully not too many are going to look that way. Salty Speedway also is pretty solid looking. I like that kind of like water Venice kind of vibe that they got going on there. I don't know, it's hard to kind of call out specific ones. There's really one that I'm dying to look at, and that is going to be the scary one, the Boo Cinema. That's the big one. That's where I'm like, okay, I want to just kind of drive around that area, see what's going on. Because Boo is always my favorite character on Mario Kart. I always try to play him in Mario Tennis, Mario Kart. Wherever I get a chance to play as him, I will take that opportunity every single time. But overall, I'm really impressed with the courses. I'm glad they're actually revamping some of the old ones. Like, they're taking the old ones and redoing them in their Mario Kart World design. So that's a really cool idea, and hopefully we can get some DLC with that. That would be really cool, where it's like, hey, we're going to add additional levels here and there, to kind of pad out some of the experience. I could totally see them doing that, especially with this being a launch title. They've got plenty of time to jump in there and add some more things. Overall, for the character roster set, I think the newcomers look great. They've got like the Goomba and the Spike, and they've got a few of the other guys. The big one I'm really excited about. I know everybody likes the cow and stuff like that, but I'm really, really excited. They have like this crab character and like, some other really obscure characters. I'm trying to remember who they were, but like a Pianta is in there. So, with older Mario Kart titles, especially Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I was always really let down by the Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe rosters because it was just like a bunch of Koopalings and like a metal version of Peach, and it's like now you can race as a crab or a penguin or a dolphin or whatever. It's just like, dude, that's awesome. Like, I actually want to race as a lot of these different characters because some of them are so bizarre and so funny. I can't believe they're going to give us that many options, but I guess they have to. And there's also the big shocking thing for me, and I was thinking that they were going to announce this in this direct. There is no non-Mario characters really here. Everybody's kind of just more Mario, whether they were an enemy or whatever. It's like, yeah, they're just, everyone is here. It's like, all right, that's kind of strange, but as far as kind of the modes go, like with Grand Prix, I'm a little skeptical about Grand Prix, to be honest with you. I'm sure it'll be fine once you get your hands on it, but I'm a little concerned about the whole driving to the next world kind of thing. I don't particularly care for that idea, because I guess my question is like, so you're gonna, and they may have mentioned this, but I don't remember them talking about it. You have to race from one track to the next, but does that count as a track? So I don't know. It's like, it's kind of confusing with there. The Knockout Tour set or mode or what have you looks really interesting as well. I'm kind of interested in that one. That looks like it's going to be best for online play. Unfortunately, I usually play most of my stuff offline. I don't really like to play online with other people, but I may give knockout mode kind of a try. I like that idea that you've got to be fast enough to get to the finish line. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to participate in the next race. That's kind of a cool idea. So really, it just kind of whittles down everybody, and it kind of gives me like a little bit of a Fortnite feeling, where it's like, they're making the circle smaller and smaller, and so you've got to get to this point, otherwise you're gonna get kicked out. And it's like, it kind of gives me a Fortnite kind of vibe a little bit there. That seems really, really cool. They did talk about the items. I'm hoping there's a few items that they did not mention, because I kind of was hoping for a little bit more variety, and also maybe hopefully like with Super Smash Brothers, you could maybe turn some off, you could turn all of them off, or you could, I don't know, maybe you can kind of tweak that a little bit, but I doubt it. The big standout for me that I really liked was Kamek. I really liked that he's kind of like the trophy in Super Smash Brothers, where it's just going to be a random kind of, attack every single time. Although the announcer for this presentation, I was not a big fan of him. He made everything sound really goofy and just kind of, just like, oh man, just like, I know it's Mario Kart, I know it's fun, but come on now, let's not make it too goofy. But yeah, the Kamek item was definitely my favorite. That was really something interesting. Like, I know there's going to be a bunch of cool kind of crazy things that he's going to do within the map, but I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see what that is. I'm trying to think of what else here. Let me take a look at my notes here. Like I said, we went over that. I guess just overall opinions, there's, I don't know, it's kind of tough to talk about. There's really not, I feel like there's not that much, and that kind of goes into my main issue with the direct. They went over the two main modes, which now it's Grand Prix and the other thing, but everything else we've already kind of experienced. Like the tilt controls, like we already know that's a thing that's been in every single Mario Kart since the Wii. I mean, we kind of figured that was going to be there, right? Like, I don't know. I'm glad you can use the camera that they're selling with it, but once again, that's not something I'm going to use. Overall, I think that the game looks solid. It looks really, really good. I'm very excited for it. I mean, the big thing for me is that I want to collect all the costumes for all the characters. I think that'd be a really fun kind of side mission kind of thing to do, to give you an excuse to drive around the map. But besides really that, just kind of doing a little bit of exploration and collecting costumes, there's really nothing else that I feel like really kind of warrants that $80 price tag. I mean, it could be totally different when they put it in our hands and people are allowed to review it, but I guarantee you that the audience here is going to be really tough on Mario Kart this time, because it's like, hey man, you're going to charge us $80, we're going to review this hard, and if this is not the greatest Mario Kart that has ever existed, people are just going to say, hey, it's fun, not worth $80, don't need to be doing that. And I kind of agree. I think that this was the opportunity that Nintendo needed to not necessarily spoil the game, but you definitely kind of got to give us a reason as to, well, why am I spending an extra $20 on this? Or even if they're just going to do 70 across the board for their premier titles, why am I spending an extra $10 for this? Because if DLC is coming down the line, we're not going to get that for free unless you're a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber. The game looks great. I really want to play it. Even though it's $80, I will definitely be getting it because I just love Mario Kart. But for those people, like I have got a ton of friends that they kind of own Mario Kart out of necessity. They own a Switch and they've got either roommates or they've got, girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever. And they just kind of own Mario Kart because a lot of people want to play it. People come over, they see you got a Switch. You can't convince them to play Smash because that's too, maybe that's too competitive, that's too intense. Mario Kart's usually more casual, more for everybody. And so they're like, okay, we'll put on Mario Kart, I don't see those people buying this game this time around because it's such a steep price tag and they don't play that by themselves. It's like, well, I'm not going to spend that much money on a game that people might want to play when they come over to my house. It's like I kind of got, I picked up Mario Kart. I picked up the Mario Kart bundle or something with the Switch, and now I've got it. That's great, but I don't know. I'm a little. At first, I'm like I said, I'm fine with you charging $80 for a game. I got no problems with that, but the content has just got to be there, And this presentation did not do really anything to increase my opinion of, of the title. I am now not more confident than I was before this. Now I'm just kind of like, well, now we have to play it. Now we've got to play it ourselves before we're going to know. Because usually, I don't know about you, but when the Switch was first announced, I kept seeing Breath of the Wild stuff, and I was like, okay, this looks good. I'm interested in this. I want to check this out. I'm not the biggest Zelda fan, but I'll give this a go. But I tell you, man, as soon as I saw that trailer for Breath of the Wild, it was the final trailer, I knew I was buying that game. Like, I just knew it. Didn't matter if it was $70 or $80. Like, I would have bought that game at whatever price point. With this, they have not done that. Now, they may have another trailer or more information to show us between now and the release, but I get the sneaky suspicion that this is all they want to show us. I mean, they hinted at Rainbow Road. They didn't even really show us that. They just were like, oh, you could unlock a secret colorful thing in the sky or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's Rainbow Road. We know that you can't not have Rainbow Road in this game. It's in every game. But I don't know. They just didn't quite capture my attention with this, I think that this is a great time to really probably not worry about spoiling it. I don't think you can really spoil Mario Kart because it's all about the experience. It's all about how it feels. So if you're going to tell us, hey, they've got unlockable this, and hey, you've got, secret that, and it's like, we'll kind of show that a little bit. And they did a little bit in free roam mode. They were kind of like, well, you can do these little, activation switches, and, there's little, like the P buttons everywhere, and it's just like, well, yeah, but I don't know. You could give us a few more details than that, just... I would not worry about spoiling this game. This is not a story, this isn't like Metroid Dread, where people are like, whoa, you're showing us secret boss fights. This is too much. Don't show us that. Let those be a surprise. And that's true. With Mario Kart, I don't really think... I could be wrong, but I don't think there's going to be that many surprises that are just going to totally blow us away. That's going to be like, hey, I wish that I did not know that before playing. It's like, no, it's Mario Kart. You're gonna play these tracks over and over and over again, you know. Well, the one thing that I will say about the price that is a saver is that they do have that share play feature. So technically now, one of us has got to buy Mario Kart World, and then I can wirelessly play it with up to 8 people, right? So that works in their favor, and that's the one thing that continues to come out you know, from what am I trying to say here? Sorry, I'm stumbling all over myself. That's the one thing that keeps reminding me that Nintendo is extremely confident in this software, because I think a lot of people would look at that and say, hey, this game's $80. Why don't we just pool our money together and split it, and then we can all play it together, right? We're only going to buy one copy. But Nintendo's saying, yeah, I'm going to charge you this much money for it, and I'm going to allow you guys to share it, but we are so confident in this game that we think that once you've played it, you're going to want to own it. Like, this is the must-own game on the console, even more so than Donkey Kong. You know, that intrigues me. That kind of has a little bit of a, oh, okay, you know, what are we doing here? You know, that gets my attention, that they're doing those two things simultaneously. Now, if they were going to say, hey, you've got to pay the $80 to play it at all, right? We're not going to give you game share on this. Then it would be like, okay, that's just flat out greedy. But like I said, the one saving grace is that they will let you, you know, to share it, you know. And I'm sure that I will probably do that with my buddies with a few titles where it's like, hey, let's go over and let's play some Mario Kart. I brought my Switch too, and you guys can just hook up and we'll just play, and we've only got my copy of the game, and it's like, sweet, solid, I love it. Anything besides that, I don't know, you know, it's I know a lot of people are super down on it. I haven't watched many videos on it because I just wanted to record this fresh by myself without having my thoughts polluted by other people. But a lot of thumbnails, I woke up this morning and saw a lot of thumbnails of people just being like, oh, well, that's it. You know, this game is gonna suck. It's too expensive. You know, there's not that much content in there, and everyone seems really down on it still. And I can't blame them. You know, I will defend the things that Nintendo does that I agree with, and I will call out the things that I don't quite agree with. I was more optimistic, I think, about this game because they had a direct scheduled, but it's like, I mean, they really didn't show us anything that crazy new compared to the launch. I didn't really leave this going, okay, I know a lot more now than I did when they first showed it to me. It's like, no, I just know a little bit more, but really not that much. I don't know, you know. Overall, it's going fine, but you know, I don't like this thing where it's like, until we get our hands on it, we're not going to know anything. That is not comforting, you know. We need some solid information here, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of my opinion on the Direct. I don't really have too much else to say about it. I'm still cautiously optimistic. I am looking forward to the game. I definitely will be picking it up as soon as I can get a Switch 2, which, oh man, hopefully the pre-orders will open soon. This has been a very, very stressful console launch as far as like pre-orders and stuff is concerned. I still have really no idea what's going on. And it is the 18th. A lot of rumors are saying that between the 21st or 22nd of April to the 30th is when everything's going to start opening up. We'll see. The lottery, as far as I know, out here has closed, and they will start sending out emails starting the 23rd, I believe, or the 22nd. So I'm just going to basically be checking emails every single day. Hey, Nintendo, invite me to buy? Nope, not yet. Okay, I'll check tomorrow, you know. I really do hope everybody that at launch can get a console that wants it. I'm really hoping that this is not a super hard thing to get. I've heard good rumors about, you know, retail like stocking plenty of them. Like there's a rumor going around that GameStop is getting 100 consoles per store, which is wild. That's crazy. But I don't know. I'll feel a lot better when I can secure a pre-order and I know that it's on its way, whether that's going to come from America or whether that's going to be here in Japan. But yeah, that'll about do it for me for today for the Mario Kart World. What do you think about it? I mean, how do you feel about what Nintendo's doing, the new pricing? What do you think of the game just in general? Does it look like the next step, or does it look like it's just kind of more of the same? You know, I don't know. I guess we won't know until we can get our hands on it. But all you take care of yourselves out there, and have a good one.